Hi everyone, it's Nadia from YARNutopia. Today we're making these adorable fingerless gloves. They are called the Freestyle fingerless gloves. On my website, YARNutopia.com, you can get the written pattern there. I'm just going to get right into it. I'm so excited to make these. These are so fast and great for gift giving to any guy on your list for this holiday season. These are men's fingerless gloves, and they are a simple design that will work up really fast for you. See how big they are on my hand, but these will fit a man hand. So I'll get into the supplies we need, and I will ask or answer some frequently asked questions, and then we'll get into making these pair of gloves. So the first thing we're going to use is Red Heart with Love yarn, and I am specifically using the With Love because it's so soft, and the color I'm using today is called Pewter. And this is a size 4 medium yarn. You can use any worsted weight yarn, which is very similar to a double knitting yarn, so you can use, even go up to an Aran yarn. It really doesn't matter how big of yarn you use. If you wanted to use bulky yarn, you totally could too. This is basically off of measurements. So this yarn, though, you're only going to need about 100 yards. I didn't even need a whole lot. The whole skein is 315 yards of yarn, but that's a 6-ounce ball, but you won't need that much. I had a lot of leftover yarn, so you can just use a quick, small amount of yarn for that. And then I'm going to demonstrate this with an H size crochet hook, which is 5 millimeters. So make sure you have that. If you want to make these smaller, I do not have sizing or stitch counts for a smaller size, but you could use a smaller crochet hook, maybe going down to a G hook. So you can use a G hook to make these smaller. You probably won't need to make these any bigger though. I mean, and if you make these bigger, you can go up to an I hook, which is a 5.5 millimeter hook, but you can use any hook size. I'm going to demonstrate with the H hook. And then you're going to need a yarn needle and a scissor for a lot of sewing and a lot of cutting your yarn. We are going to be making these 4 fingers separately, and then we are going to attach them, and there's going to be a lot of loose ends on each end of them, so you have to sew in a lot of ends and sew closed between the fingers here. So I show you how to do all of that. And then the stitch marker, if you have a legit stitch marker, you can use that or an extra piece of yarn, because we will be working in continuous rounds. So we aren't slip stitching and attaching, so it's just easy to count where your beginning is of your round with a stitch marker. So those are the supplies we're going to need. Now, frequently asked questions about sizing I get a lot of. These are universal, so I'm only going to show you how to make one of these mitts, and then you make 2 of them, but they are the same exact style, because you can wear them front or on the left hand or on the right hand. They are the same on both sides, so that's a really nice thing. So sizing, this measures, let's see here, 23 centimeters long, which is 9 inches. So if you want to make these bigger or longer, you totally can. I show you in the video tutorial how you can continue, especially before the thumb hole and after the thumb hole. The thumb hole is a crucial part in this, so make sure that you follow along with that part. But those are the measurements, and then around the wrist part here is about 20 centimeters, which will be about 8.5, or I'm sorry, not 20 centimeters, 12 centimeters, sorry, 12 centimeters, which is about 4.5 inches across. So that's about 9 inches for the wrist. Okay, so double that, because around here, all the way around, it's 9 inches around the wrist. So if you need to make this bigger, obviously you can make these with more stitches. So, and I explained that all in the video tutorial, and a lot of these answers will be in the notes section on my website, so make sure you check that out. But before we begin, I do have to mention there are other links in the description of this video. So there's not only the link to the written pattern for these awesome Freestyle fingerless gloves, but there's also a link to my Facebook and Instagram, so I would absolutely love it if you shared your photos. Make sure to share your photos if you make this on Facebook on the wall, and then on Instagram you can hashtag YARNutopia so I can see your work there. These are going to match the hat that we just made the other day. If you see the hat, I'll put a link to the you know, Shred the Slopes hat that I have on my website. I'll put that. So it's a great match, and it would be a nice match for the gentleman's scarf too. If you wanted to make a whole set, you can make the fingerless gloves, the hat, and the scarf and give it as a gift set. That would be a great gift for the holidays. So keep that in mind for a guy on your list or anybody on your list. You can make these in any colors you want. So I hope you enjoy this tutorial. Before we start, I have to say a big thank you to my dad, Fuad, Azmat, for taking the time to make this video with us. He is our videographer, editor, and photographer for all of our videos. So make sure you subscribe to our channel here on YouTube and get that update on when he posts our next video. So I wish you all happy holidays, and I hope that you enjoy this video. Let's get started and make the Freestyle fingerless gloves. Let's start out with a slip knot. So put your short end over the long end like that, and then fold this down and pull that through and pull tight. Insert your hook, and we can begin. So we're going to start off by making the finger portions here. We're going to make 4 of these. So chain 8, so yarn over and pull through 1, 2, 3, and 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. And then we're going to come all the way to the first chain. So we're going to kind of flip this closer to the hook like this. And I'm going to work in the back ridges. You can work in any loop you want, but go into the first chain right here. Okay, and we're going to slip stitch into there. So yarn over and pull through and pull through. So we have a ring, and that should fit around the finger. Okay, and we're going to chain up 1, and we're going to single crochet into that same chain. So go in, yarn over and pull through, and then yarn over and pull through 2 loops. Okay, that's a single crochet. And we're going to single crochet in each chain. So go into this next chain right here, yarn over and pull through, and then yarn over and pull through 2 loops. Next chain right next to it right here. Go in, yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull through 2. Okay, this is our 4th one here. Here's 5 and 6, 7, and last one is kind of hidden. Go in, yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull through 2. So that's 8. Now you can see here is our slip stitch and our chain up 1. We're going to ignore those, and we're going to go into this first stitch, but we're not going to actually slip stitch. We're working in continuous rounds. So if you need to, grab a piece of yarn or a stitch marker if you have one. I'm just going to grab a different colored yarn for a stitch marker here. And we're also going to work in the back loops only of this project. So usually we go through both loops like this, both loops, both loops, both loops like that. We're actually going to work in the back loop, which is the loop away from you, furthest away, right here. Back loop, back loop, back loop. You can use or go through both loops if you don't want that ribbing effect, but I like that design, so I am going to do that. And we're going to work in continuous rounds. That's why I put the stitch marker there, so that marks my beginning of my round. I'm going to go into this first stitch, yarn over, pull through, and then yarn over and pull through 2 loops for a single crochet. And now for rounds 2, 3, and 4, we are just single crocheting around, working in the back loops only. Okay, just working in the back loops like this. And we're doing that for rounds 2, 3, and 4. So each round will have 8 single crochets. Okay, we're just putting 1 single crochet in each stitch around. Oh, look at that. I'm already back to the beginning. This will be pretty fast for you. So then when you're done with this round, we are going to move our stitch marker up 1. Okay, and then go on to round 3, single crochet into each stitch around for 8 single crochets, and then round 4. So let me just do this real quick while you're on the cam with me so you can see what I'm doing here. And 8, moving my stitch marker up and single crochet in around. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. Okay, so I did my 4 rounds. You can see from the beginning here, here's our beginning, 1, 2, 3, and 4. And then when we're ready to fasten this part off, we're going to go into the next stitch under both loops now, go in, then yarn over and pull through and pull through. Okay, and then we're going to fasten this off. So chain 1, we're going to cut with a long strand of yarn to use for sewing. And then we're going to pull that all the way through and pull tight. And then we can remove the stitch marker, and there is one of the fingers. So you can see that it will fit on any one of the fingers. Okay, so you need to make 3 more of these for each one of your fingers. The 4 fingers here. The one for the thumb we will be adding last. Okay, so just do 4 of these in total, and then once you have all 4 of these ones, I will meet you up and we'll attach them and make the hand part. Alright, so I have 4 already done here, so this is what I have. So now what we're going to do is line these up so that the long strand where you fastened off is at the top part of it. So make sure they're looking like this, so the part that you started is down here, okay? And then we're going to arrange these all so they're all going the same way. Let's see here. This way. This way. And this way. Okay, so now they're all going the same way where we fastened off, and now we're going to attach them. So what we need to do is grab one of these. Okay, we're going to work in the back loops only again. Okay, so there looks like there's no seams or anything. We're going to go into this back loop of this stitch right here and attach this yarn and pull it through. Okay, and then we're going to chain up 1 and single crochet in that same stitch. So go in, yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull through 2 loops. Then in the next stitch, so in the next 3 stitches also. So we're going on in 4 stitches in total on this piece. So go in, yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull through 2. Next stitch, go in, yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull through 2, and the next stitch, single crochet. Okay, back loops only. Then we're going to go grab the next finger here, and we're going to go into the back loop where you fastened off right there. Go into that back loop. Okay. Then single crochet in there, so yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull through 2. And the next 3 stitches also. So 4 stitches on this one also. So 1, 2, 3, and 4. Okay, then grab the next finger. Make sure these aren't getting twisted or anything. Grab the next finger and grab where it's where you fastened off in, right in here. Go in, make a single crochet in 4 stitches. 1, 2. Here's 3 and 4. Okay, and now on this last one here, we're going to grab it and single crochet in 3 stitches. So go in to this last one here, back loops only. So 1, 2, and 3. And then this last one here, we're going to still do 4 stitches on here, but we're going to single crochet these 2 together. So go into this next stitch, yarn over, pull through, go into the next stitch, yarn over, pull that through, and then yarn over and pull through all 3 loops. Okay, now what we're going to do is kind of, without twisting anything, we're going to flip this around. Okay, just like that. So now we're going to work on this side of it. Okay, so we're going to single crochet in 3 stitches. So go into this stitch, yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull through 2. Next stitch, single crochet, and the next stitch, single crochet. Then hop to the next finger. Okay, this strand here that's left out, we're going to use that for sewing later because there will be holes between your fingers here. So I'll show you how to do that later. But we're going to single crochet in 4 stitches on this finger. 1, 2, 3, and 4. Then hop to the next finger here. Single crochet in the 4 stitches that are free on this finger. 1, 2, 3, and 4. And then on this last finger here, we are only going to single crochet in the 2 stitches that are free. So 1 and 2. And then these 2 stitches right here, the last 2 stitches on this round, we are going to single crochet those 2 together. So go in, yarn over, pull through, go into the next stitch, yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull through all 3 loops. Okay, so on this round you should have 30 stitches. So if you need to, count back 30 and then slip stitch to the first single crochet of this round. Go into there, both loops, yarn over, pull through, and pull through. Okay, and that closes that round. So that you can see here, this is how it should look. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is pause here. We're going to chain 1, okay, and then I'm going to pull this up and remove my hook. We're going to pause here for a moment. I'm going to show you how to sew in some ends and sew these closed, and then I'm going to sew in the rest of these loose ends on off camera, and then we'll go on to the next step. So you can see between the fingers here, there is a big gap hole, and there's that strand right here. We're going to use that for sewing that closed. So grab your yarn needle, sew on, or weave on the yarn there, and then we're going to just whip stitch this closed, going in one side and then out the other side, or closing this. Okay, make sure not to sew closed your fingers though, because then you won't be able to get your fingers through the holes. So just sew these closed just like that, and then to fasten that off, we're just going to go underneath some stitches, okay, and then back around into that loop to make a knot. And then you can do that once or twice. I'm just going to do it once, and then you can just sew in this end just by weaving it in underneath the stitches. Just go in underneath the stitches, okay? And then we can cut that yarn. Okay, so then that hole between those 2 fingers is closed nicely. So then there's this one right here between these 2 fingers. So then we're going to grab that straggler there and use that for sewing. So, oops, I must have sewed it in somewhere. Oh, I guess I sewed it in there. Well, I'll get that off camera. But this next one here, just do the same concept. Make sure not to sew in any loose ends or get anything caught. So yarn your needle, grab your needle and yarn it with the loose end, just like that, and then weave it around and around in a circular form to close that gap, and then go underneath the loop like this and pull it tight to tie a knot, and then sew it in underneath these stitches inside the glove, and then you can cut this yarn. So do that for each side, each piece, and then also these strands that are up here, you can sew these in as well. So grab your yarn needle, sew your yarn on there, okay, and then just go around the top of your fingertip here, or the top of the finger hole here. Just go around, but then stretch it out so that your finger will fit in there. Okay, so just keep doing that on every finger, and then once that's hidden, you can stretch it out, cut your yarn, and make sure that's hidden. Okay, so do that for each finger, and then I'll meet you up for the next step. Alright, so I just sewed in everything and sewed in between these fingers, so now you can see there's no holes, so it looks fabulous. So now, going on to round 6 of the pattern, it says to work in continuous rounds and work in the back loops only. So I'm going to insert a stitch marker here to note that that is the beginning of my round. And I am going to single crochet all the way around for rounds 6 through 12. So go in the back loop, yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull through 2. And we're just doing this basic single crochet in the back loop only for rounds 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and 12. So it's just working, there are 30 stitches on this round. Okay, so I'm just going to work the 30 stitches and then once I get back to the beginning, I will grab my stitch marker and move it up so I know that that is the beginning of my round, and then we're just going to single crochet all the way around. Okay, it's going to be pretty fast. It's working fast for me already. I'm halfway done with this round, just talking here. So I'll just do that for rounds 6 through 12. When I finish round 12, we are going to make the thumb hole for round 13, so I'll meet you up at that point. Alright, just so there's no confusion, we are not slip stitching to this first stitch. We are just going to, you can see there is our, slip stitch in our chain 1. We are just going to single crochet, and then, we can move our stitch marker up to that first stitch there. Okay. And then we're going to just single crochet around. Sorry about that, I guess I should have showed you that, but now I'm on round 7. So I'm going to do rounds 6 through 12, just single crochet, and then I'll meet you up for round 13. Alright, just finished round 12, so this is what your piece should look like by now. So at this point, if you wanted to start the thumb hole earlier or later, just, however many rows you need to get in, to fit around the thumb hole. So now you can try this on, or try this on the person who's going to wear these, and then see that this is where the thumb hole should start. And if this comes up on the thumb like this, then you should start the thumb hole earlier. If it doesn't even hit the thumb, like if it's way up here on the hand, then continue with more rounds until you get to the thumb part right here comfortably. Then you can start the thumb hole round. So that is round 13 in the pattern. So we are going on to round 13. And to do that, we are going to single crochet in each stitch, just like we did for each round here up until now. I forgot just to put my stitch marker up here. So put your stitch marker in the first stitch, and then single crochet in the back loops only all the way around. I'm going to try and do this a little bit faster so you can see exactly what I am doing to make the thumb hole. And this is universal. This is on both of the gloves. Okay, so we're going to come all the way around. Okay, just like this. And then when you have 2 stitches left, we're going to skip those 2 stitches, and I'll show you. When I come around, we're just single crocheting. Alright, so now I have 2 stitches left here. We are going to chain 4. 1, 2, 3, and 4. And we're going to skip those last 2 stitches. And now going in the written pattern, we are going on to round 14 right away. So we're going to skip these 2 stitches. And for round 14, we're going to skip the first 2 stitches here. So we're skipping 4 stitches in total. And we are going to single crochet in the back loop only of the next stitch. Okay, so this is kind of like rounds 13 and 14 meshing together, because this is where our round starts, okay? Then we're just going to, for rounds 14 through, let's see here, 14 was just skipping those first 2 stitches there. And we're single crocheting around now, okay? Just completely single crocheting around. And then I want to show you when we go on to round 15. Here. So I'm on round 14 now. That was a quick round for round 13. And just chaining those 4 for the thumb hole. And again, this is for both gloves, so we're not doing anything special for the left or right hand. It's just going to be a universal kind of thing. And then once you get back around, so we're on round 14, going on to round 15, we are going to single crochet in each one of these 4 chains. And what I personally like to do is work in the back loop, or the back ridge of each of those chains. So 1, 2. So now this is the end of round 14. Round 15 starts where these 2 chains are right here. There we go. Okay, and then don't forget this stitch right here. It is going to be a little bit hidden, but if you count your stitches on each round, you should be good. So now if you need to mark the beginning of your round here, oopsie, it's this stitch right here, you can mark it with the stitch marker. And then we are now on round 15. So round 15, 16, 17, 18, and 19. So rounds 15 through 19, we are basically repeating rounds 6 through 12, just single crochet in the back loops only. So I'm going to do that. I'm on round 15 right now. So I'm going to do rounds 15, 16, 17, 18, and 19. Just single crocheting around, working continuously, and then I'll meet you up for round 20. All right, I just finished round 19, so this is what your glove should look like right now. If you want to, you can try it on to make sure that it will come down to the wrist, okay? And you can see here that there's still a lot of room here, so we're going to actually decrease this next round to make this fit around the wrist part a little bit more snug. But it looks fabulous right now. I mean, obviously my pinky doesn't fit. It's going to fit a man hand, so, but this will definitely work out. So now we're going to go on to round 20. We're going to make a decrease, but we are going to work with herringbone half double crochets. So remember that hat we made the other day? We are going to make herringbone stitches. So if you want to slip stitch in this next stitch here, so go in, yarn over, pull through and through. Okay, I'm going to remove this stitch marker here because now we're going to work in rows. Okay, so chain 1. Okay, let me make sure my other glove looks exactly like this. Yes, it does. Awesome. So now we are going to herringbone half double crochet decrease. Okay, so we're going to yarn over, go into both loops. You can work in both loops now. If you want to work in back loops, you can totally do that, but I'm going to work in both loops here. We're going to yarn over and pull through first loop on the hook. So now there's 2 loops on the hook. We're going to yarn over, go into the next stitch, then yarn over and pull through, and then pull through that first loop on the hook. So now we have 3 loops on the hook. We're going to yarn over and pull through all 3 of those loops. And that's a herringbone half double crochet decrease. Now we are going to herringbone half double crochet in the next 4 stitches. So yarn over, go under both loops, yarn over, pull through, and pull through the first loop on your hook, and then yarn over and pull through 2 loops. Again, yarn over, go into the next stitch, yarn over, pull through, and through the first loop on your hook, and then yarn over and pull through 2 loops. So again, yarn over, go into the next stitch, yarn over, pull through, and through the first loop, then yarn over and pull through 2 loops. And the next stitch. Okay, so we did a decrease, and then a herringbone half double crochet in the next 4 stitches, and now we're going to repeat that around. So decrease again, so yarn over, go into the next stitch, yarn over, pull through, and through the first loop, yarn over, go into the next stitch, yarn over, pull through, and through the next loop, and then yarn over and pull through all 3 loops on your hook. And there's a herringbone half double crochet decrease. Then we're going to do a regular herringbone half double crochet and then the next 4 stitches. So 1, 2, 3, and 4. And then just repeat that around. So herringbone half double crochet decrease, and then herringbone half double crochet in the next 4 stitches. So that at the end of this round, you'll have 25 stitches in total. So I'll meet you up and we'll go on to round 21. All right, when you finish round 20, this is what it should look like, and you can count back 25 stitches in total. And then we are actually going to work this part. You can slip stitch and chain up 1 and go on to the next round if you want to, but I don't want any seams in here or looking like there's seams. So I'm going to work in continuous rounds for rounds 21 through 23, and I'm going to just herringbone half double crochet into each stitch around. So just in this first stitch right there, you can see I put my stitch marker there, and we're just going to yarn over, go in. Oh, and sorry, I meant to go into both loops. I worked in the back loop there, but we're working under both loops there. Yarn over, pull through, and then yarn over and pull through 2 loops. Yarn over, go into the next stitch, yarn over, pull through, and through the first loop, and then yarn over and pull through 2 loops. Okay, so just continue doing that all the way around, just like so. And then I am going to meet you up at the end of, let's see, I'm going to do rounds 21, 22, and 23. So we'll do that, and then I'll meet you up when we're about to fasten this part off. All right, just finishing round 23. Now, obviously, if you want to make this cuff longer, you can do that as well. There we go. So you can just continue on working these herringbone half double crochet rounds however long you want to make these gloves. But I'm going to fasten off here. So to do that, we're going to slip stitch into this next stitch. So go in, yarn over, pull through, and then chain 1 and cut your yarn and pull that through and pull it tight. I'm going to remove my stitch marker and I'm going to grab my yarn needle and I'm going to weave in that end right away so that I don't have to weave it in at the very end of my project here. So I'm just going to yarn my needle with that straggler, and then I'm going to go on the inside here and go underneath some of these little stitches here. Just go inside and back around and just weave it in so that it doesn't unravel and that it is completely hidden. And then you can cut any extra that you have. Okay, so now this is what it should look like. We need to make a thumb hole here. So the last thing we have to do, we are going to look at our piece like this. And you can see there's 4 stitches on top and 4 stitches on the bottom, okay? You can start in any stitch, so I'm just going to start right into, let's see here, this stitch right here. And you want to go under both loops, okay? Front loop and back loop. Hook on your yarn and pull that through. And we are going to chain up 1 and single crochet in that same stitch. So go in, yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull through 2. And the next 3 stitches here, in, yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull through 2. So that's 2. Sorry, that straggler was covering that stitch. There we go. 3 and 4. You can see I'm working over this straggler here, this loose end, so that I don't have to sew it in later. You can do the same if you'd like. And then what we're going to do, you can see this gap right here. I don't want that gap there. So what I'm going to do is actually single crochet into there and into my next stitch. If you can see how I did that, I went through this loop here and this loop here, yarn over, pull through, all of that, and then yarn over and pull through 2 loops. Okay, that just makes sure that there's not really a big gap there. And then we're going to single crochet in those stitches on the top there. So in the full round here, you want to single crochet evenly 8 stitches. So 4 on top and then the 4 on the bottom. Okay, and then we're going to slip stitch to the first single crochet of this round. Let me cut this little straggler here because this is so in my way. There we go. And then we're going to go into the first stitch here, slip stitch in there. So go in, yarn over, pull through and through. And then we're going to chain 1. And now these next 3 rounds, we're going to work in continuous single crochets and working in the back loops only, just like we did for these top fingers here, working in the back loops only and working in continuous rounds. We're going to do 3 rounds on this part here. So that should be long enough. If you want to make it longer, you can totally do that. But I'm just going to do 3 rounds of single crocheting in the back loops only for these 8 stitches. And then I will meet you up when we're going to fasten this part off. Alright, when you're finished with this round, with your thumb hole here, we're going to go under both loops of the next stitch and slip stitch. So yarn over, pull through and through. And then to fasten off, I like to chain 1 and cut my yarn, pull that through and pull tight, and then grab the yarn needle and sew in the ends. So just make sure you sew your ends in as you go, or, you know, while you're doing this, just because at the end of your big project, you don't want to be like hassling with all kinds of loose ends. And I say that in all of my videos, so please, you know, sew in your ends as you go. It just saves time in the end. So there you go. And then cut any extra. And there it is. So now what I need you to do is rewind this and make a whole nother one exactly like this one. And make sure it fits everywhere. It's a little big on me because it's for a man hand. And I can see there's a little gap here. If there is a gap on yours and it does look kind of weird, you can take a piece, actually fold this inside out. Okay, and you can see that gap there. So what we're going to do is actually close it with a strand of yarn. So that's if you have gapping. So this is just a little tip and trick here. Just go under some stitches. Okay, cut it, tie a knot on the inside of your glove, and then sew in those ends inside of some stitches. So just grab your yarn needle, yarn your needle with those 2 strands that you just tied a knot on the inside with, and then just sew them in underneath, and nobody will ever know. You can cut them short, fold it back outward, put it on your hand, and you can't even tell. How fabulous. So just rewind this and make another one of these gloves, and you have a set. So they're universal. You can wear them on either hand. So let me just put it on the other hand too, so you can see that it works for both hands. Looks fabulous. So can't wait to give this to my guy. So you can gift these or keep these for yourself. These are great. And yeah, I hope you enjoy. So thanks for watching and learning how to make these freestyle fingerless gloves. Enjoy and happy hooking!